So you're about to PCS to Fort Liberty, and you're asking yourself, should you buy a house or should you rent a house? Well, really can depend on your own individual circumstances, but we're going to look at your financial situation and what are your long-term goals, just to name a few things. And ultimately, it's going to be your own individual circumstances and decision. But I'll do my best to give you some ideas and help you guide in the right direction. If you're thinking of buying, selling, or investing in the Fayetteville or surrounding areas, please reach out to the team and I. We would love to help you. Call us, email, or text us. We would love to answer your questions and see what we can do for you.
Text me later, okay?
So first thing we're going to talk about is your financial situation. So where are you financially? If you're thinking about buying a house, you're going to need a down payment. You're going to need due diligence money. You're going to need closing costs, earnest money, pay for a home inspection. I mean, the list goes on. And I can explain those things to you, but make sure you got money set aside for those things. And it really depends on the price of the home that you're looking at buying. That could be increased or decreased. If you want to know more about that, check out this video right up here in the top where I talk about 5 things you should know if you're looking to buy a home. It goes more in depth of what I'm talking about. Not only do you look at your credit history when you're applying for a loan, they also look at your debt to income. And not to go down a rabbit hole of what that is, but I'll explain it real quickly. Your debt to income is how much debt you have compared to how much money you make every month or every year. So if you got 3 or 4 cars, you've got a lot of credit cards, you're paying child support, you're paying alimony, you're paying student loans, those things can add up, and there's a good chance the bank may think you cannot afford to finance a home. Also, it will not give you a loan. And also, when you're buying a home, you got to look at the PITI, which is your principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. The principal is the amount that you are paying on the loan. The interest obviously is the interest you're paying, will be 8%, 7%, 6%, whatever you get locked in at. Insurance on the home, that could vary from house to house, depending how big it is to how small it is. And the taxes on your property. That's going to really depend on location also. If you got a house out in a rural area, maybe a little cheaper than finding something in the city. So financially, if you're not ready to possibly buy a house, and renting may be ideal for you. It's a short-term fix where all you got to do is usually pay a security deposit. If you got pets, probably pay a pet deposit too. And of course, your first month's rent.
Every month when your rent is due.
So next thing we're going to talk about is long-term plans. So you get BAH if you're going to live off base, whether to rent a home or to buy a home. And this is tax-free. So if you have long-term goals of investing one day, now may be the chance that you start this. If you buy a house now, then you keep it for 15, 18, 20 years or longer, and you rent it out after you move away, or you stay in it, and you decide to buy a bigger house. That house is only going to appreciate if you take care of it. It appreciates, typically houses appreciate about 1% a year on average. And also, if you're planning to stay in Fayetteville for quite a few years, even if you're not thinking about investing, but you're going to be here for 5, 7, 10 years, then maybe buying a home may be better for you. It really depends on your situation, but at least, you're here for a longer period of time. If you're going to be here for a year or 2, or you don't plan to be here very long, then renting may be the better ideal thing for you to do. So another thing is this. Let's say you want to invest in real estate. You've always thought about it. Now is the time. You can use your VA loan, buy the house, and if you move away, you can use your VA loan again. A lot of people, that's a myth right there, that people think you're going to use your VA loan once. No, you can use it more than once, but the limit is $726,000, I believe. So if you buy a house that's $200,000 here, then of course you've got $576 left over to buy the next house. And if you sell the first house, then you of course get that back. And if you are thinking about investing, let me give you a quick scenario that a friend of mine did. So he bought this house for $100,000 about 15, 20 years ago, I believe. And he just started a family. Him and his wife just had a baby. And what he decided to do, and it's kind of by accident, was he bought this home and they lived in it for quite a few years, and then they bought their next home with their VA loan and rented out that first one. So he bought it for $100,000. He rented it out, I think it was a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home for about, when he first started, about $800 a month, and by the end of the, we'll say 18th year, he decided to sell it, and the rent was up to about $1,100 a month. So now he's built up all his equity in his home. He was able to sell it and make a profit of $150,000 in the 18 years. And like I said, he just had a child, so he was able to send off his kids to college and that was their college fund. He used that money to pay for their college.
Very smart. Very smart.
Which is a great story. So a lot of people always hear, you're saving up for money for your children to go to college, and you get a bank account open, and which is a good thing too. I'm not saying not to do that, but the best thing to do is possibly buy a house like this guy did and rent it out. And who's paying for it? Your tenant is. You're not paying for this. If you use your BAH and you're still in the military, you get to live tax-free in it until you decide to go to the next house. So that would be a great idea to do, in my opinion. Of course, that's something that you had to think about. Is that something you want to get into? I totally understand. You may not live here forever. And if you decide to move somewhere else, you've got a rental property back in Fayetteville or surrounding areas, and it's a place you may not want to come back to. You're like, I'm done. I'm not coming back to that side of the country anymore. So that's something you got to think about, though. Next thing to talk about is going to be the housing market. Now, at the time of this video, it is now November 7th of 2023, and we're kind of in a weird, crazy market. I actually just did a video about this, so if you want to check out that video, it's right up there in the corner. But right now, we're still short inventory of homes. Our MLS, typically, we would want at least 4,000 to 5,000 active homes on the market in the Fayetteville surrounding areas. And right now, we've got about 1,500 active homes. So we are still short from being a balanced market. We would like 4,000 to 5,000 active homes. We're at 1,500. About a year ago, we were down almost 400. So it definitely has increased. But also with that, prices have increased on homes, and interest rates are now around 8%. So right now you've got a lot of buyers on the sideline waiting for the interest rates to drop down a little bit. We're in a stalemate of where homes are not selling as quickly as they were because of the buyers. And now we've got sellers who are now lowering the prices on their homes and offering some kind of closing costs on their homes too. Now, in a market like this, I know that interest rates are high, but you may want to think about buying for the fact that you won't have a lot of competition. If their interest rates begin to drop again to 6% possibly or lower, then you're looking at everyone who's on the sidelines, just like you were, are going to jump back into this market and want to buy. And then it's going to come right back up to where we're going to have bidding wars. We're going to have over asking price. We're going to have a lot of people offering a higher due diligence. And prices of the housing can keep rising because the demand is there. But I think it's a great time to possibly buy now if you can do it. If you can't do it, 8% is too high for you, then of course don't do it. Now be the time for you to rent. So it's really going to depend on your situation again with the housing market. If you think you can pull it off, I think you can do it. What you need to do is buy the house once you can refinance because the interest rates have dropped. Then definitely refinance. You could also do a 2-1 buy-down program. Not to go down a rabbit hole, but what you would do is you would lock in your interest rates at, say, it's 8%. And then the 2-1 buy-down program, how it works is your first year, it's dropped down to 6%. So first year, you're paying 6% interest. Your second year goes up to 7%. And by the third year, you're back up to 8% interest. Make sure you can pay for your home at 8% interest.
Great. Sounds great.
And a great thing I know I mentioned earlier is your BAH. Definitely, your BAH is paying for your house. So why would you want to rent if you can own a home and the military is paying for it? If you rent a house using your BAH, I mean, you're not building an investment portfolio for yourself. No, that's not your goal. Then of course, definitely rent. And of course, if you're not in the market, right now to buy a house, like I said earlier, then now is a time to rent for you. It'll be much easier for you to do that. And then, once you rent a home and you decide you want to buy, see if there's more money, then maybe jump on that, that market and see if you can afford a home or if you're ready to afford a home. So next thing to do, I'm going to compare rental costs compared to buying costs. Now, with renting a home, it's pretty simple. You rent a home, let's say it's going to be a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house. You're looking around $1,500, $1,600 a month. And possibly, the first month's deposit rent, not possibly. You have to pay first deposit a month rent, probably some pet deposits. Maybe, depending on your credit, they may require a double deposit. But, so you're looking at roughly $3,000, $4,000 possibly to rent a house and to set everything up. Now, if you're going to buy a house, you're looking at possible down payment, depending on what type of loan you use, due diligence money, earnest money, home inspections, closing costs. All these things are going to add up. And I'm going to break it down if you're going to buy a house. So let's say a house was $250,000. And let's say you're going to use your FHA loan to buy this house, which is 3.5% down. You had to buy. So the house is $250,000. 3.5% would be $8,750 you have to come out of pocket for. Now, say your closing costs are typically around 3%, give or take a few dollars, and that comes to $7,500 that you're looking at. All right, so let's do a house. Let's say you buy a house for $250,000 in Fayetteville. We'll do 3.5% down payment, which comes to $8,150. We'll do 8% interest. Let's be aware this is all hypothetical. Someone got their ass chapped. Last time I did a video about mortgage interest rates. Some lender, I can't remember her name now. I wish I did remember. Anyway, so, and this is all just numbers I'm throwing out here. So let's say 3.5%, house $250, 30-year mortgage, 8% interest. $200 a month on property taxes, homeowners insurance, $150, no PMI, no HOA. So you're looking at a rough estimate of $2,120 a month on your mortgage payment, give or take a few dollars. Okay, so now let's look at a rental. So if you buy a house for $250,000, you're looking at 3 to 4 bedroom, possibly at least 2 full baths, maybe a half bath. So look at the rentals here in Fayetteville. You're looking at $2,200. You got $1,800 here. You look 2,100, $1,600, $2,300. That's a 4-bedroom home. $1,450, $1,725, $1,800. So, and you can do the math on and on. So, roughly on average, you're looking at spending less if you're going to rent a home compared to possibly buying a home. So that could weigh in a lot of things of what decision you're trying to go with. Let's say you drop $1,000 in due diligence money, $1,000 in earnest money. Now you've got $2,000 wrapped up in your deposits right there. Let's say you're going to pay for a home inspection around $300 and then a termite inspection around $85. Now if I break this all down, you're roughly looking at $16,555 that you may have to bring to the table, including all these costs. But now I'm going to switch it up on you. So if you didn't know, on average, a person lives in their house that they buy for about 13 years on average, and then they go to buy the next one. So let's say you're going to buy a house that's $300,000, okay, and you live there for 13 years. It appreciates by 1% every year. And on the 13th year, you decide now that you're going to sell it. So it's now worth about $340,000 roughly. So you bought it for $300,000, now you can sell it for $340,000. Now let's say you sell it, now you're paying a commission of 6%, which brings it down to $320,000 now. And you got a loan balance of $275,000 left on it. So after you pay back the loan, you have been left with $45,000 after 13 years, if it appreciated for 1% each year. Are you thinking of relocating to the Fayetteville surrounding areas, or are you about to PCS to Fort Liberty? Well, I've got just the thing for you. The team and I have actually taken time to create the ultimate relocation guide, which is meant to save you hours of research, and I've linked it down below in the description. And the best part of this guide is 100% free. Yes, you heard me right, free. Just click the link in the description or the top pinned comment. I hope this helps you, and please reach out if you have any questions. Next time we're going to talk about just flexibility. So, again, it depends on you. If you buy a home, now you're locked into that home for, well, not forever, but you're kind of locked in because you just can't keep going out buying homes and selling homes. But if you're renting, of course, the flexibility is not as strong there after about a year of renting. If you decide you want to move to another area, to another house, it's not a problem. Pack up your stuff, go to the next place.
Let's move out.
So, again, long term, it depends on what you want to do. And of course, it goes down to, again, personal preference. If you don't mind moving every couple of years or every year and you like that, then, by all means, maybe you should rent, use that BH money, free tax money, keep renting. But if you want to build an investment portfolio, I say buying is the way to go. Use that BH money to do that. Some people like the stability and the fact of home ownership to where their mortgage is never going to increase unless they refinance their home or decrease. To where, so if their house payment is $2,300 a month, it's going to be $2,300 a month until they pay it off. Of course, with renting, you never know what's going to happen. The landlord after 1 year can raise the rent by $100, $200, or even above the average rental price. And it's all legal. If he wants to rent it out for $3,000 and it should be $2,200, he can do it. You don't have to pay for it, but he can do that. It's going to be supply and demand. And right now, rentals are crazy right now. We have a lot of landlords who are renting houses very quickly, to where as soon as they advertise, they've got about 10 to 15 people who are looking to rent this place out at the time of this video. So definitely, when you watch it, it may be a different market than for rentals. But right now, it's still hot just because of the interest rates and the low inventory. I say if you plan on living in an area for at least 10 years, then you should buy a home. Now, if you plan on living less than 10 years, then renting may be the way to go for you. If you enjoyed this video, please check out this video over here that YouTube recommends to you. And if you're thinking of buying, selling, or investing in the Fayetteville surrounding areas, please reach out to the team and I. We would love to help you. See you guys in the next video.